Being the chairman of the National Black United Front Houston chapter, and I will have the good fortune, Houston is in the house. That's right. I have the good fortune of being your MC this evening. Brothers and sisters, we want to do just a minute of housekeeping before we get started with our program. We want to ask all of us to please cut your cell phones or any portable devices on vibrate or off out of respect for the entire program. Can you do that, brothers and sisters? Yes. Thank you. Brothers and sisters, we're kicking off the 30th National Convention of the National Black United Front. Can we get a strong black hand for 30 years of struggle, service, sacrifice on the front lines for African people, for black people? Y'all ain't loud enough now. 30 years. And we're happy and thankful that you are here with us at Kennedy King College. Brothers and sisters, we're going to get a welcome from the president, the leader of Kennedy King College, Dr. Clyde L. Amin. Give him a strong hand, brothers and sisters. Dr. Amin. Yeah.
Good evening, brothers and sisters.
Good evening.
And to my Muslim brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum. I'd just like to, first of all, extend to all of you a sincere welcome to Kennedy King College, which I always refer to as your college. These colleges are supported with your resources. And I'd like to thank the National Black United Front for honoring us by choosing this as a venue for this really significant event. I don't think the title could be more timely, though some of us may have slipped into a little bit of a doze as to how timely it is. So there's obviously a great evening in store. Like you, I'm here to hear Minister Farrakhan and hear about the agenda of the National Black United Front. So I just wanted to take a moment to extend greetings from the Kennedy King College family. Thank you for being here. The leader of the City College of Chicago, my boss, I want to thank him for enabling us to reach out and serve our community and to partner with our community to bring enlightening events such as this. So thank you very much. I don't want to hold the evening up anymore because I actually came here to enjoy and take it all in. So thank you, Dr. Ward, for working with us, and hopefully we work with you at a rate as been as easy as possible. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters.
Yes, give the brother a hand, President El Amin. Brothers and sisters, as African people, as black people, as people of African ancestry, we don't begin anything of any significance without calling forth the spirit of Almighty God and our holy Egun, our ancestors. We call this process the pouring of libation. And the pouring of libation, we have a strong sister out of Chicago, the First Lady of the National Black United Front. She's out of Chicago, but that's by way of Houston, by way of Panama. Her name is Sister Taliba Warrell. She's going to pour our libation. Everybody got to participate in the libation.
In the beginning, okay? spoken by Brother Kofi Toharka, we begin nothing by first giving homage to our ancestors. We give homage to all of those who came before us, all who suffered, all who died, all who worked, our blood ancestors, and those ancestors who, by their deeds, by their works, have been able to show us how we should be as African people. So we want to take this time. Many of you may not remember your ancestors on a daily basis. So we want to take this time to remember some of those ancestors of your lineage. You know, Grandma and Grandpa and Uncle Joe and knife-toting Benny. But we can still remember them too, okay? So let's call their names.
Ray Savoy, Joan Penn, Cecilia Savoy, Robert Penn, and Bakisha Jabbar.
Now I want you to call the name of those ancestors, the ones in our tradition, the Malcolms and the Amy Garveys and the Marcus Garveys. Those are the names I want you to call right now.
D. Don Kamani, Fred Hampton, Mark Clark, Marcel Porter,
There are There are many Ashe. I want to be specific about these ancestors because they were the foundations of N.B.U.F. There are many who came through N.B.U.F. that are no longer here with us, but they built this organization along with the ones that are still here. So we want to remember them. Conrad, you know those names. Conrad, you call those names. You call those names.
Charles Reddish.
I'm a James.
Harry S. Edwards.
Ashe.
Shashi McIntyre,
Ashe.
Al Lumpkin,
Ashe. Ashe. Mr. Mills.
Bobby Wright.
Coupon.
Ashe. Baba Jake.
David Brothers.
Ashe.
Ruby Cormier,
Ashe.
Marcel Porter.
Ashe.
A. Mallory.
Ashe. Ashe. And to all of those ancestors whom we do not remember, all of those ancestors whose names we do not know, all of those ancestors whose bones are buried at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. We want to pour libation for them. Thank you, thank you.
Ashe, Ashe. Thank you, Sister Talika, for the pouring of libation. Brothers and sisters in the National Black United Front, we believe in African fundamentalism, which the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey taught, and he gave us the flag, the colors of the red, black, and green. His wife gave us the pledge. We're going to call forth Brother Theodore Floyd to lead us in the pledge. We want everybody to stand on your feet, raise your proud black fist for the RBG, the red, black, and green.
And please remain standing afterwards for the Black National Anthem. Here's to this flag of mine. Here's to this flag of mine. The red, black, and green.
Red, black, and green.
Hopes in its future bright,
Hopes in its future bright.
Africa has seen.
Africa has seen.
Here's to the red of it,
Here's the red of it.
great nations shall know of it
Great nations shall know of it.
in time to come.
In time to come.
Red blood shall flow of it,
Red blood shall flow of it.
historians shall write of it,
Historians shall write of it.
great flag of mine.
Great flag of mine.
Here's to the black of it,
Here's to the black of it.
400 millions back of it,
400 millions back of it.
whose destiny depends on it,
Whose destiny depends on it.
the red, black, and green of it,
The red, black, and green of it.
oh flag of mine.
Oh, flag of mine.
Here's to the green of it,
Here's to the green of it.
young men and women shall dream of it,
Young men and women shall dream of it.
face shots and shells for it,
Face shots and shells for it.
maidens shall sing of it,
Maidens shall sing of it.
waving so high.
Waving so high.
Here's to the whole of it,
Here's to the whole of it.
colors brought and pole of it.
Colors brought and whole of it.
Pleased is my soul with it,
Please is my soul with it.
regardless of what is told of it.
Regardless of what is told of it.
Thanks to God for giving it,
Thanks to God for giving it.
oh, great flag of mine.
Great flag of mine. Yeah. Please remain standing. We're ready for the Black National Anthem.
Sisters and brothers throughout the diaspora, the National Black United Front extends its heartfelt gratitude for your support on this project. Join us now as we honor and celebrate the legacy of James Weldon Johnson and 100 years of Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Let's give a hand to the drummers. How do the drummers sound? Strong. Bringing it. Keep bringing the spirit energy. We love it. Brothers and sisters, now I'm going to call up for brief remarks and some acknowledgments the leader of the National Black United Front, a man who has been on the front lines for our people. We love him in Texas because when he comes to Texas, he is right in the streets with the people. In Texas, when they killed our brother Shaka Sankofa, Gary Graham, he was in the streets with the people raising a righteous cry of freedom, justice, and equality. Anytime that we've called on him, he has come and work with the people. So I'm sure you love him like we love him. The national chairman of the National Black United Front, Dr. Conrad Worrell.
Black power. We say black power.
Lowndes County, Alabama, June 16, 1966. Black people were moving to get the right to vote. a lot of action was taking place, and on the flatbed truck that evening, as oral tradition informs us, a brother by the name of Willie Ricks whispered in the ear of Stokely Carmichael, and he made that pronouncement. And we are children of the Black Power movement. Right. Black Power. Black Power. We said it then, and we say it now. We need some power. It's black. You understand? It's just that simple. Y'all got my drift? Y'all look good. We're glad to be here at Kennedy King College. This is the new Kennedy King College. Kennedy King College grew out of Wilson Junior College, where we used to play Bed West. We didn't go to class too much. We played a lot of basketball. And then when the movement hit in Chicago, we demanded that the city college system expand the city colleges and start changing some of these European names to some names that reflected us. So the first strike was Malcolm X on the west side. Then we had to have a little compromise on the south side. It really wasn't supposed to be Kennedy King, Dr. Watson. It was supposed to be just Martin Luther King Community College, but we had to back up and compromise at that particular time. And that's how the Kennedy King came into existence, that was on 68 in Wentworth. And now we're over here on 63rd and Halsted. And the man responsible for this edifice in this third phase of one of the second largest community college systems, the outgoing chancellor of the city colleges, and my good friend who now, August 1st, will become the president of Chicago State University. Someone that I've been working with in the field of education for over 30 years, blow by blow. And so his job and his instructions come from the community. And his job is to ascend to the presidency of Chicago State University and make Chicago State the black-led university that it has the potential to become. And it has great potential. So I want the outgoing chancellor, his last day as the chancellor was June 14th. So he's in a little transition now. His new assignment begins August 1st. So this is my good friend, Dr. Wayne Watson, the new president of Chicago State University.
Good evening, my brothers and sisters. Welcome home.
Yes, sir.
You know, this brother Conrad Worrell, Dr. Conrad Worrell, my colleague, my elder, this brother, we seldom, acknowledge and understand and appreciate, people of his stature when they walk with us. When they walk with us. And he has walked with us for decades, for a couple of scores. And I guess when Du Bois, when Marcus Garvey, when Chancellor Williams, when Malcolm, as with Jake Crothers, as with Bobby Wright, as with Martin Delaney, when they walked amongst their colleagues, their peers, they just walked past them and said, "Hey, what's happening, Martin? What's happening, Conrad?" It really is not putting forth the respect of what this brother has done in the past, what he's doing now, and what he's going to do in the future. And I just really want to acknowledge this brother, Conrad Worrell. tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of young black people will not be shot on a street corner. I didn't say tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands will be educated. I said tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands will not be shot on a street corner because of him. Now, we can talk about the people who will be educated because of him, and you multiply that in the hundreds and the thousands of the tens of thousands. So, have to acknowledge who we walk with. You know, everybody, you know, of course, welcome to Kennedy King College. Clyde Elamine, I hope he wasn't talking too fast when you heard him say it, well, he welcomed you as a fellow Muslim. Understand what that brother said when he said that, okay? He's president of a college. All right? And he's a Muslim brother. And I take great pride in having been that person who helped him to get where he is. Because it's our understanding he might be the first and only Muslim brother who's a president of a college in the United States of this stature. Okay, of course I'm going to say welcome to Kennedy King College, welcome to the City Colleges of Chicago. I've seen everybody looking up the walls saying, wow, isn't this pretty? Looking at the technology, wow, isn't this nice? I saw I've heard people say it, but you're missing something. And what you're missing when you look at this edifice is the same thing we miss when we look at some of our politicians who have now ascended to great offices. The same thing we miss when we look at some of our presidents who ascend to become presidents of colleges, or when we look at some of the brothers who become presidents and CEOs of different companies, when we look at some of the sisters who become judges. And that is, we miss the foundation. So before you get too carried away in looking at this edifice, please understand that the foundation of this building is what you really need to admire. Because this edifice would not be standing here today, Conrad. Sister Ivor, the foundation in this building goes down deep into the soil, into the roots of this neighborhood. But it's deeper than what can be measured, Mario, by metric measure. It goes down to the fact that the brother who built the foundation here grew up here. 2-in-1 is a company. So was a black man who built this foundation. And we so often look at the glass and the technology. The glass and technology would not be able to stand if not for the foundation that this brother put in here. And we fought to make sure a brother put the foundation into Kennedy King College, because we did not want it falling apart in 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, or 60 years, the way the old Kennedy King College fell apart. So we had a brother put it in here. And so when you look at that, as we look at the different, we have people who are in high political offices now, people who are in high positions in companies. And we so often forget the foundation that they stand on. The spiritual leadership and the foundation that has allowed them to get to where they are. So I just want to remind you that as you walk through this campus, and it is your campus, every now and then, just look down. Give praise to the brothers who have laid the foundation for this building to stand. And as we move over the next couple of years, and as we look at the different individuals in high offices throughout this country, and in major corporate structures, and in universities, let us look down and understand that they are where they are because of the foundation upon which that led them and allowed them to get where they are. I am where I am because of you. Say no more. God bless you and thank you. You know, I have got to make this transition because I am where I am because of you. But tomorrow, I will be where I am because of us. All right? I'm making a transition to Chicago State University. And you has reference to the past. Us has reference to thank you. We have some work to do. We have some work to do. My responsibility over the next 5 to 10 years will be to make sure that we produce the next judges, the next superintendents, the next CEOs of companies, the next real mothers and fathers of families, establishing a cultural base throughout the entire curricula of Chicago State University that will allow these young men and young ladies, regardless of if they are majoring in pharmacology, engineering, business, education, give them the cultural base that will allow them to utilize that skill set to benefit us and not to work against or deny us. So that is our challenge. Hear what I'm saying. That is our challenge. So don't have me in a situation where, because you know I will be out in the front. I have never had to turn over and look over my shoulder to see if I had backup, because you've always been there for me. You have always been there for me. And by being there for me, you've been there for us. So we have a good challenge ahead. We're going to take Chicago State, an institution that is one of the top 10 institutions in the United States of America for putting out people, for putting out black males, black young ladies in chemistry. Top in the United States, top 10. In biology, in physics. Physics. One of the tops. But we never hear about it. We have to get our message out because we know that the media will spend extra money. They will spend extra money to tell about our challenges, to tell about our problems. We have to make sure that we get the stars of our universities. Chicago State, the only predominantly black institution in the state of Illinois. The closest thing to an HBCU that there is Chicago State University, 85% black students. We must make sure that that university goes into the second decade of the 21st century, ranked among the top in the nation. Thank you.
All right. Let's give the brother a strong hand. You coming back? I'm good.
I guess you all know that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan just came in. We go back a long way. So we're honored to have him with us this evening as we bring forth a message in the 30th annual kickoff of the National Black United Front. Most black liberation organizations that grew out of the 60s, the 70s, and that struggled to get into the 80s are not around anymore. We still here. Right. Our founding chair, Reverend Herbert Daughtry, served with distinction in our founding that was in Brooklyn, New York in June of 1980. A brother by the name of Rashadim, at that time, Minister Farrakhan represented the Nation of Islam and taught us a couple of lessons or two. We all know who we're talking about, Brother Malik. But the architect of the National Black United Front, the person who spent 2 years after he had built the East Organization in Brooklyn, New York, one of our great educators and master organizers in the Black Liberation Movement, is with us this evening. I want to acknowledge one of my mentors in organizing in this country and throughout the world, Brother G2 Waul. I also want to acknowledge another strong brother in our movement, organizer, particularly in the arena of social work, who ascended for many years as the chair of the National Black Social Workers Association, who has worked to support many of the critical social issues that impact on African people, particularly the African family. My good friend out of North Carolina, the former president of the National Black Social Workers, Brother Leonard Dunstan. I want to introduce our treasurer, the sister who keeps our money straight. She's just a tenacious sister, unsung all these years in the National Black United Front, from Kansas City, Missouri, Sister Sandra Dean. This brother and I hooked up a few years ago at Fisk University. He invited me to come and speak on reparation, and we've been joined to the hips ever since, because he let me speak with all these intellectuals and what have you. And I didn't act intellectual when I was talking about reparations. And so when the meeting was over with, he said, we're going to write a book. I said, write a book about what? About what happened at the conference. And that book turned out to be one of our great books on the reparations movement, Should America Pay, my great friend, Dr. Ray Winbush from Morgan State University. The next sister actually assisted me in the job that I have now as a professor at the Carruthers Center for Inner City Studies of Northeastern Illinois University, because she was married to Dr. Jacob Carruthers. And she vouched for me because he really didn't want to have nothing to do with me. After she sent me to him, he wasn't impressed. She worked on the brother, and finally, when there was a tenure track position available, I won by 1 vote, maybe a half a vote. But I've been at the Carruthers Center for the last 35 years, and I've worked closely with Sister Iva Carruthers, who, by the way, earned her PhD at Northwestern on the same day that Dr. Wayne Watson earned his PhD in the same commencement ceremony. and another ancestor who was with them at that graduation, who was the former president of Chicago School Board and the president of Alcorn State University, Dr. Clinton Bristow. We need to throw his name out here tonight. But Dr. Ivor Carruthers is right now currently the executive director of the Proctor Conference, the Samuel Proctor Conference, which is a coalition of black clergy across the United States who are deeply imbued in black liberation theology that have been, many of them have been mentored by Dr. Reverend Jeremiah Wright. Y'all heard about him, huh? So that's Ivor Carruthers, my great friend. This young brother is Salim. He's giving me instructions. See, they can't wait. I got 24 more hours to be the chairman. And the young brothers are working on me, you know. But you're right, he's right. Seydou, where are you, Seydou? He's the oldest member of the National Black United Front. Where's Seydou? Seydou. Seydou, stand up, Seydou. This is the oldest member of the National Black United Front. Henry English, the executive director of the Black United Fund of Illinois. When I met Henry, he was the treasurer of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. He was keeping Fred Hampton and others in check. He's been dealing with economics ever since I met him, and he's one of the reasons that we've been able to exist for so many years and then have to go beg white folk. We own a whole block. He had nerve enough to put me on the board, and I've learned a lot from Henry English. We're joined to the hips. He's one of our great organizers here in Chicago, and my great friend, Brother Henry English. Stand up in. The Black United Fund, F-U-N-D, not the front. The national chairperson or the national president of the National Black United Fund / National Black Federation of Charity, because one of the strategies that came out of the 60s was to dovetail into payroll deduction and to have it black and not send all your money to the United Way, since black people on many jobs in America were forced to have to do payroll deductions with the United Way, and they gave it to everybody else but us. You understand? We actually had to sue the government of the United States to tap into the workforce so we could get money from our own people that work for the federal government. Is that correct, Brother Bill? Well, Bill Merritt came in here tonight with a check for the National Black United Front, and he's another reason we've been able to exist for 30 years, and I want to acknowledge Brother Bill Merritt. I want to acknowledge this young man who's mentored by one of our great scholars, Dr. Jacob Carruthers, one of his students, he and his wife, who's the chair of the African American Studies program at Chicago State University, coming from Bowie State. He earned his PhD in the late 90s from Temple University. He's just a joy because he's the coming of the great African-centered scholarship that will take over and propel us to new heights, he and his wife both. So I want to acknowledge Dr. Mario and his wife, Valencia Beatty. Minister Farrakhan, this might not be too protocolish, but I have to acknowledge Robert Muhammad, because he's our brother.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I don't know how he got up here. He didn't tell me he was coming. He's from Houston, Texas. And he's really joined to the hips with our chair of the Houston chapter of the National Black United Front. And Brother Robert Muhammad is one of the great leaders in the Nation of Islam. And I'd like to acknowledge Brother Robert Muhammad. There's a lot of people I can acknowledge in the room, and I won't be able to, but before the weekend is over with, before I transition out of being the chair, I'm gonna call your name out. Sister Mary Duster, she works with me in the university. She's the Dean of Academic Development, and she said, I want to come and see Minister Farrakhan. I said, well, come on, sister, you know, I'm happy. Okay, because we've been working together and battling and maneuvering in a university system for earning our income and trying to help black people for the last 30-something years, and she's here this evening, and I need you to get that brother his check tomorrow. Dean Mary Duster. I see Brother Dockett, I see a lot of chapters here. The brothers and sisters from New York, just raise your hand. If there's anybody from New York, Brooklyn, New York, and then St. Louis, Missouri, I see some people. Say something, Dockett, I see you. People, Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I understand they got a big bus and they trying to show out and they got caught in the traffic. So if you see a lot of young people coming, we organized in the state of Wisconsin. They have a full bus of college students from Wisconsin and they'll be here. Let's give them a big round of applause. And Houston is in the house, and Columbia, South Carolina, I think, is in the house. Columbia, South Carolina. Lansing, Muskegon, Atlanta, Seattle. Seattle's in the house, Bay Area, etc., and people are still coming to this convention. This is a convention, and the purpose of a convention is for the National Black United Front is to get ourselves fired up so we can keep working. Yes, sir. The specific purpose of this convention is for me to step up. Everybody's been asking me, are you retiring? You know, black people shouldn't be retiring. I mean, what are we going to retire and do? Okay? But what we should do is step up and use our considerable experience as elders and knowledge and wisdom to guide the younger generation on the way to liberation. I mean, that's the way the African people did it. So the question is, am I going to go sit down somewhere? I'm not going to sit down nowhere.
That's right.
I'm just not going to be the chairman. We're going to have a new chairman when this convention over, and he's going to be about, hopefully, if everything works right, he's going to be a younger brother or a sister. You got my drift? And they'll be able to lead the organization for the next 30 years. That's the way we plan these things. You got my point? So don't y'all quit asking me, am I retiring? I ain't retiring. I'm stepping up. I'm an elder, and I'm using my considerable experience to help guide, help participate. And I don't have to do all these things I used to do, but I'll be doing the same thing that I always did because my mind is straight. As a matter of fact, my mind is straighter than it's ever been. So we as elders, men and women, black men and women in movement organizations have to use our experience, our knowledge, our wisdom, and insight to raise up a new generation of leadership to continue the black liberation movement in this country and worldwide. That's our charge. That's what we're supposed to do. Y'all got it? My friend Senator Donnie Trotter did a little proclamation. I'm not going to read all this. He'd be here, but he's down in New Orleans conducting political business. We do have a couple politicians that we work with. He's one of them. He's done great work to help the work that we're engaged in. So I'm going to sit down because y'all came out here to hear Farrakhan. I know y'all, I know how black people are. Y'all didn't come, you came because you want to hear the minister. But let me just tell you something. Every time we've asked Minister Farrakhan to participate in any activity of the National Black United Front, he's agreed. And I mean, this